Let's go to Los Angeles. You remember this guy. Alvin, do you have a previous call from Bob in L.A.? I want to set the table. Bob in L.A. was the guy who said that we had to run LeBron's ass into the ground. And I say that only because I want to establish his old school roots. Bob in L.A. is an old school sports fan.
Run him every single game. Run his ass down.
I'm laughing like, come on, Bob, really? Not like generally, every single game you run his ass down.
Run his ass down.
In other words, get that bleeping load management off my bleeping lawn. So I can't wait to see what Bob's got today. Hey, Bob, there are not very many callers who get that kind of a build-up like you just did. Don't let me down. Let's go to Los Angeles. Bob, good morning. What's up?
Jim, thank God you took me in today. I only come in when I have to have the heavy take. I am serious. I'm not making any jokes today. When those guys did in baseball what they did, they changed the game of baseball. It wasn't just a cheating thing. It's an actual change of the game. In PEDs and stuff, that's an individual trying to get away with something. But just think about it, Jim. Here's a whole organization, a whole dugout of guys who get paid millions of dollars with talents that they have, thinking over the other dugout, their talents and everything, we're going to beat you with a stupid electronic thing. Whatever happened to the game of baseball of my guys kicking your guys' ass because we're better than they are? Jim, I know this sounds crazy and everything like that, but that changes the whole game. When you have individuals doing, when you have a whole bunch of guys with talent and everything, not even caring that they're getting an advantage and they're not even worried about it, winning a World Series about it, and actually jumping up and down saying that they won that way, where they really didn't. They didn't kick their ass. All they did was they used an extra thing to help out in the game that they thought that they couldn't get the advantage of. They thought that they couldn't hit pitching, or they thought that they can't hit themselves in there. Jim, I'm sorry, I'm yelling like this and everything, but it upsets me. I'm like Tommy Lasorda. I love baseball. It's in my blood and everything else. And what those guys did, or two teams did, will disgrace baseball forever. But you got to make sure it never happens again. I don't know what they got to do. They got to say anybody involved in a baseball game with electronic anything is a felony. Anybody who does it is gone forever.
Do you know what? Bob, let me jump in. I'm going to rack him first of all. Rack him. So Bob's getting more and more pissed, more and more angry, to the point where he finally says, you know what? I don't know what you do, but what you really should do, if it's discovered that anybody really did do this, you slap them with a felony. I got a better idea, Bob. Why don't we just give them the chair? Maybe lethal injection. Man, I hate to become that guy. I do not want to become the host who always needs more information, but better to be that than to be the guy who rushes in with some hot take that's going to age really badly. Or you can be like old school Bob and just be furious.
Anybody
and take it personally.
In a baseball game with electronic anything is a felony.
Like I said, Bob, why stop there? Anybody involved in a Major League Baseball game with an electronic device really does deserve the chair. Man, strap them in, shoot them up.
Anybody
not with roids, but with the lethal injection. You imagine, like, poor Jose Altuve sitting there on death row because he had a buzzer on him? It sounds absurd, right? Unless Bob was the judge. Man, Bob would be like, lock him up, throw away the key, put him in the chair. This is baseball. Man, I love baseball. You're wrecking the game. You're wrecking my life. See you in jail. See you never again. SoCal Jeff tweets, Bob is mad as hell. He's fired up. At Pauly T. Wall tweets, Rick in Buffalo thinks Bob in L.A. needs to settle down. Stucknut, grumpy, old Bob. At Street Girl Fan, yeah, Bob. Just, yeah, Bob. I gotta tell you, man, Bob is even older and more angry than Ike. Am I right, Ike? 1-800. Who's gonna follow Bob? None of you want any of that. How are you gonna follow Bob?